Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Nightmares of Nature. As always, I'm your host, Mr. G. Today, we will be having a discussion about the largest birds on the planet, the Ratites, which is a group of birds consisting of some of the largest of all the avians. None of them can fly, and with one exception, they're very large birds. Now, there are 5 groups to look at, so let's get into it. First off, we got the ostrich, the largest living bird. Native to Africa, ostriches are omnivores that'll eat basically anything they can fit in their beak. Since they can't fly and they live in a place full of carnivores, ostriches instead have one of two attacking methods. Either running away super fast or using their powerful legs to deliver devastating kicks. And no, they don't put their heads in the dirt. That was probably thought to be the case because of people seeing ostriches pecking at the ground and assuming their head was in there. Plus, just think about how terrible of a defense mechanism this would be. They can't breathe down there, and they would basically be sitting ducks. Anyway, ostriches have sexual dimorphism. Males are black, while females are brown. Ostriches are a group species, and during breeding season, all the females of the group will lay their eggs in one nest, where the flock will then take turns incubating and rearing the chicks. Over in Australia, we got the emu. These birds have little to fear thanks to Australia's lack of large predatory animals. Other than that, though, I can't really say much here that I haven't already said about ostriches. They're basically just ostriches, but on another continent. So, yeah. The same can be said for South America's rhea. They're basically ostriches, but without tail feathers and smaller. Back in Australia, however, we find the cassowary. These birds are recognizable thanks to their bright blue heads and head crests. They're mostly fruit eaters, but like all ratites, they are omnivores and will eat bugs if available. The cassowary has a pretty bad reputation, with them often being shown as super aggressive birds that'll kill anything that moves. But in reality, cassowaries are pretty shy and they tend to avoid contact with other animals. This reputation of danger instead came from how if cassowaries do attack, they can be pretty brutal, with their feet being able to disembowel you. In addition, it's noted that most cassowary attacks are ones that have previously been fed by humans, making them reliant on human food. So remember, if a sign says don't feed the animals, listen to it! Finally, we got New Zealand's very own kiwi bird. These guys are quite anomalies among ratites. For one, they're not that big, only being about the size of a baby. Secondly, they're nocturnal, while every other ratite is active during the day. Kiwis are also notable for having a great sense of smell, a sense that most other birds are lacking in. So I think we all know who the true mascot for Fruit Loop should be, unlike that poser toucan. Anyway, kiwis are also notable for laying the largest eggs in relation to their body, as the eggs are nearly a quarter of their size. Yeah, that sounds like a fun childbirth. Yeah, as you can imagine, they only lay one egg at a time. Behavior-wise, because New Zealand lacks placental mammals besides bats, kiwis ended up taking a similar niche to rats. They even have whiskers made of feathers. So yeah, that's the ratites. Time for the cards. The cassowary card is fine, but for some reason ostrich is located in Strange Wonders. Honestly, I would have replaced it with the kiwi bird. And also it lists only a single species even though ostriches are a genus, so 9 out of 10. Each of these birds have a different human relation, so let's go through them. Ostriches were pretty important birds in most African civilizations, with ostrich eggs being fashioned into all sorts of things, and to this day ostrich feathers are a popular accessory. And ostriches are pretty common meat, which I kinda want to try. Emu are well known amongst the Aboriginal people of Australia, with some myths saying that the sun is actually an emu egg, and others believe that emus came into existence because of an incident where a man accidentally sliced his arms off with a boomerang. Emu are also sometimes consumed. Oh, but speaking of emus as food, it's a very common urban legend that Disneyland makes its turkey out of emu. However, this legend is ridiculous for a few reasons. First off, emu legs are way larger than the ones at Disney. Secondly, people who've actually eaten emu have said that it has a texture and taste more similar to beef than to turkey. And finally, just think about it logistically. Considering how many turkey legs are sold at Disneyland, it would require them to have more emus than the entire continent of Australia. Plus, turkey is cheaper than emu anyway, so what would even be the incentive of using emu in the first place? Okay, back to ratites. Rheas exist. Cassowary are pretty feared, as mentioned earlier, and the kiwi is a protected animal since it's a symbol of New Zealand, and like all island wildlife, it's under threat due to invasive species brought by sailors. So yeah, that's fun. All these birds are found in captivity somewhere, with ostriches being the most common. Well, that's all for this episode of Nightmares of Nature. Join me next time when I talk about a creature that'll probably fool you. Or something like that. I don't know. Bye.